You have seen this likely on social media, but a Baltimore cop attempts to run over an alleged suspect who wasn't really a suspect at all. That cop has been identified, that cop has been suspended, and now the commissioner of police speaks out. I'm going to take you to the video and then update you on this saga. Here it is.
Yeah, what's your reason to stop me? You ain't even got no reason to stopping him, bro. Hey, yo, walk off.
I'm gonna hit the alley, yo.
Go ahead, Trey, walk off, bro. He beating. He ain't even got no reason to stop me. Hey, yo, what the f? You gonna hit him with the car? Yo, what the f, bro? Yo, yo. Hey, yo. Come back this way, yo. You crashing it all that. You really crashing out, bro. Go ahead. Really crashing out, bro. You crashed his car and all that.
I want you to imagine that car not being a police vehicle. I want to take you there just for a moment. I want you to imagine there's no law enforcement uniform being worn by that man. And you would clearly be able to say, it looks as if the person is trying to either kill or seriously harm the man on foot, right? Put it up full mass. I have a background to share. Baltimore cop identified after trying to run over a black male with his police cruiser. Baltimore City's police commissioner, Richard Worley, on the left, spoke during a quarterly consent decree hearing, which I will get to that in a moment, about a viral video that showed an officer driving, let's just say aggressively, and attempting to seemingly run over another human being with his cruiser. That officer, identified as Robert A. Parks on the right. Officer Parks has now been suspended. He has been a member of the police department since 2020. Here's a quote. Quote, "First I saw it, I thought it was AI. I honestly did," Worley said. Quote, "I thought because you can do so many things with AI, we had to make sure the video was real." Now this speaks to two different dynamics happening at the same time. Number one, the realism of AI. Number two, the reluctancy of a police commissioner to believe that an officer engaged in such an extreme and disgusting activity. It was criminal in nature, obviously. At least that's my opinion. The department has now opened an internal investigation and is reviewing the body-worn camera that went viral. Parks' police powers are now suspended. He is currently working in an administrative capacity. That's according to the department. You can thank police unions for that. Quote, "It is not what we want our officers doing, definitely not what we've been training them to do," Worley said. Quote, "The best thing we can do is what we've been doing, which is be transparent. We saw it. We don't like it. We did something about it. We suspended the officer, and we're going to hold the officer accountable for his actions." A consent decree judge calls the video very troubling. Now let's put up that picture again. They are already under a consent decree because of bad policing. He updated the world on this cop at such a hearing to discuss compliance to the consent decree. Mr. Worley, you said that you don't like what you saw. You say, quote, "It is not what we want our officers doing, definitely not what we've been training them to do." So, Worley, I say this to you, sir. Was what you saw a crime or an administrative error? Which one? Because if what you saw was a crime, like I saw, this man does not deserve to be working in any capacity, still being funded by the same taxpayers that he's obviously trying to kill. But if you believe that this is simply an administrative issue, then fine, let him work a desk. Let him still continue to get paid, even though he was trained to enforce laws, not to break them. There is something you can do, sir. You see, if you would have had him arrested, you don't need to then bow down to the police union that has mandated you to keep him employed. He also, according to your words, violated SO. That is your standing operation or your operational agreement, your standing protocol, the directive that you give cops. Now, last time I checked, Baltimore police, they can actually fire a cop who decides to violate any of those standard operational protocols that are required to be a cop. Did he violate that, sir? I'm calling you out because the lip service you guys give while pretending to be on the side of the community, while at the same time paying the man by way of our taxpayer dollars, paying a man who has decided to engage in this kind of action against a member of that community, is quite insane and cannot stand. So stop talking out of both sides of your mouth and do what is right, because you know and I know what he did was against the law and he should be arrested and held accountable. Cops should not have a lower standard of accountability. They should have a higher standard of accountability, just like anyone else in any profession. A medical doctor doesn't have a lower standard of accountability. They have a higher one. A university professor doesn't have a lower standard of accountability to students. They have a higher one. A psychiatrist does not have a lower standard. They have a higher one. There's more. The video was viewed by thousands, including U.S. District Judge James Bradar. The judge is overseeing the department's consent decree progress. During Thursday's quarterly hearing to review their progress, the judge called the video very disturbing. Quote, "It's just egregious," Worley said. Quote, "It's not what we teach our officers to do. It's not what we want our officers doing. And it's going to damage our relationship with the community, which is the thing that we're trying to build up the most." Sir, once again, there's an opportunity here. Thankfully, the young man that he was trying to kill or could have killed, that young man is alive. This could be a very different story. If your ultimate goal is to build trust between cop and community, while this is a sad occasion that any cop would engage in this kind of behavior, it's also an opportunity if you understand what to do. See, this is the opportunity that has been given to you to build that relationship between cop and community. Don't blame it on the corrupt cop who acted in such an egregious way only, because the only reason he felt empowered to do so is because for years you guys have been, I guess, not empowered based on your own capacity as their boss to do something about it. Who runs you, the union or your conscience? Who runs you? The union or the people that you are sworn to protect and serve? Who's in charge of you? Because this is the opportunity where you don't have to talk about, well, this cop is going to hurt us building our relationships with other members of the community at large. No, sir. No, that's your job. That's your job. That's why you're in charge. That's why you're the boss. That's your job. You have the opportunity. Here it is. 8 years after the decree placed the city's police department under federal oversight, there are still some major issues that stick out to officials in court, citing staff shortages and a backlog of nearly 500 disciplinary cases. Officials in court also recognized the progress that the department has made since the consent decree began. Quote, hopefully, within the next couple of years, we will have it completely satisfied and we can come out from under federal monitoring, Worley said. That doesn't mean we're going to change anything. We're going to continue to progress and rebuild the department while we still lower crime. Worley continues. And unfortunately, one bad incident like this sets you back months and years to all the progress we've made. Mr. Police Commissioner, you should probably run for political office, sir. The kind of double talk you do. You just admitted you have 500 disciplinary actions on your cops that you haven't gotten to. And in the same proclamation, you're saying one bad apple. One? You have a backlog of disciplinary items. These are people who have took the time to launch a complaint. You're under a federal consent decree currently because of habitual patterns of adverse actions of your cops towards citizens. You have a staffing shortage likely due to morale and budgeting. And you believe there's one bad apple? Maryland police defender, Natasha Dartig, and Baltimore City public defender, Ms. Margarita Lano, issued a joint statement on Thursday condemning the cops' conduct and demanding additional transparency. Their remarks call on state agencies to uphold their legal obligation to release public records and honor Maryland's consent decree, which they agreed to this decree. Quote, this dangerous and reckless conduct represents a flagrant abuse of power and disregard for human life. Exactly why transparency and accountability are constitutional imperatives, they both said in a joint statement. I join them in that sentiment. The spirit of that only helps everyone. The spirit of that statement, if applied in the executive leadership of law enforcement, will only help everyone. They are not there for other cops. They are there for you. Does it make sense? This is a governmental agency. Watershed management, that's a governmental agency inside the city and some county governments throughout this country. If somebody at watershed management breaks the law, do they get a paid vacation? Are they able to avoid an indictment? No. If somebody works in sewer and sanitation and they decide to break the law, do they get a paid vacation? Do they get to go and work an office job while there's an internal investigation into their illegal activity that is recorded? Of course not. They get no such privilege. So why is it that the governmental agency known as the police department, why do they get these other perks? All right, dear brother, thoughts here.
I mean, like he was demonstrating behavior like he's suicidal or something. Not only did he try to run over this man, but then he spun circles around the block over and over again, putting a whole lot of different people's lives in danger, a lot of different people's safety in danger. So it goes without saying that he should never be allowed to be on the force or be on the job like that again. But more, he should be in prison. Like if anyone else, as you pointed out, tried to run someone over and didn't succeed, they would still have to do some time for attempted murder. In no way does this solve any issues. I mean, like it would have made more sense. It would have been uncalled for, but it would have made more sense for him to like pull his taser out or something. Like at least then he could have had some type of typical standard argument like, oh, he was resisting arrest. But I mean, this should be a layup, in my opinion, for the police department. Y'all should just get rid of him and give him the punitive measures because this is even out. So we're used to police officers shooting people, but we're not necessarily used to this. So like they could do a lot more with this, but this dude needs to be in a mental hospital. Something wrong with him.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't deserve to wear that badge or to get paid by taxpayers that he's allegedly trying to kill. And once again, if somebody would try to run over you with a vehicle and they are empowered and licensed to use a gun, what makes you think they won't decide to use that gun or have not decided to use that gun in an inappropriate way? Major investigation obviously needs to happen, and we will bring you updates as they come.